I'm going to switch things up a little bit today. I'm going to meet up with the guys and we're going to be cruising through the canyons. And we're going to make our way to having breakfast at a popular local restaurant. Later, I'm going to revisit the lighting of my garage because on the last episode, I really liked the way the hexagon lights turned out, so I'm buying more. On the last episode, I talked about how me and the guys, I'd be cruising to an event. We kind of switched things up a little bit today because we're going to be actually driving through the canyons instead. I prepped my M5 to take it to an event today, but because the plans changed, I'm just going to be taking my 911. On my work desk, I bought some more lights for my garage. I was really pleased with the first set I installed, so I bought additional lights. And also some new parts came in for my QX56. So I'll be installing those later today. I spent a good amount of time earlier this week detailing my M5. It's been since November of last year that I washed it, so it's nice to see it clean again. I'm here at the pre-meet spot now. We're going to be heading out in about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and we're going to be starting through Redlands and then Yucaipa and up through Oakland and around to San Timoteo Canyon. We're back in our cars now, so we're going to head out for the drive. The little town is. Yeah, we usually have breakfast right here at Apple Annie's. It's really nice. My Nissan 350Z was my most prized build. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because more than 10 years ago, I did a photo shoot for a magazine cover on this very bridge. It is a little bit different now that there's no center lane, so we weren't able to stop and take pictures. A couple of years after that photo shoot, I also did my BMW Z4. So we made it to our final destination. It's Caroline's Country Breakfast, which is back here. It's a popular spot. And as you can see, when I was driving in, there was a long line. So Eduardo went through and tried to sign us up to see if we could get some seats. We had a good drive and breakfast this morning with the boys. We did some driving through the canyons of Oakland, and we also connected over to San Timoteo Canyon. A lot of the time we were just filming, getting some shots of the landscape, and we were able to sneak in a little bit of spirited driving. Driving my 911 with 19s is a big difference compared to with 20-inch wheels. Whether I'm taking a hard turn or hitting bumps, the car feels a lot more stable and I don't have to worry about rubbing anymore. So I definitely prefer driving with 19s over 20s. However, with the 20s, the car does look a lot more aggressive. It looks a lot more sleek and sporty, but as far as the driving experience, 19s all the way. What I want to do now is revisit the lighting in my garage. I was very impressed with these hexagon lights that I purchased more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange the LED light bars that I have towards the back half of my garage. I'm actually going to keep everything in one row, and on the front and the back side of my garage will be all hexagon. So this is my setup right now. What I plan to do is right in the middle of the garage towards the back, I have one LED light bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it in the middle here. I might have to shift the other light bars on the left and the right to the side so they can make room for a light bar right in the middle here. And the way it's going to be set up is the hexagon LEDs in the front, in the middle, the light bar LEDs, and then on this back here is going to be hexagon LEDs again. So it's going to distribute the light more evenly in my garage. So let's get started. The first thing on my to-do list is work on my LED light bars. So I'm going to work on the one right here and relocate it just a little bit back here so it could give some room in the middle for the other light bar. So I changed or removed the light bar over here. And now I'm going to focus on moving this a little bit to this side, this to that side, and then put the third light bar right in the middle. I had to pull my cars back a little bit. Here's my ladder so I could get up on that area and start working on the lights. So here's the final look. You can see that the center bar is now there, and the ones on the side I pushed a little bit closer, about 6 inches, to make room for the one in the middle. So when I turn it on by the switch, turns on just like before, except this time they're all in one row instead of having the one in the middle and the back. Now that I relocated the light bars, I'm going to focus now on the hexagon lights towards the back of my garage. I will have to move the cars actually back and out of the garage so I can close the garage door, and it'll give me space to work in this area. The toughest part about this particular area is finding the center. So I lined it up with the center right here because on this side it's just gonna be 5, whereas this side is gonna be 6, whereas this side is 6. So the center of this looks different from that because this is an odd number. So I lined up the middle right here. You can see the line from the paint. I measured this with a tape measure, so it's perfectly set in the middle. So here's a peek of how it looks like with the 5 towards the back side of the garage versus the 6 in the front. I was able to secure some of the screws. However, I didn't tighten them down, so that's the next step. Here's the final look. I got all the bolts, I got all the screws secured now, and everything is wired. However, I am going to return to this project because I want the triggers to be different. I want both of the hexagon lights to go on at the same time, and then the switch for the LED light bars to go on their own. So they'll be separate. It is a big difference as far as lighting in my garage. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and it definitely changes the experience here inside the garage. Earlier on this episode, I spoke about some new parts that came in for my QX56, and it's that box right there. I was going to squeeze in that job in this vlog, but I decided to push it back and work on it in the next episode. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one. Wow.